Alright everyone, thanks for joining us today. In this video, we're going to be going through and showing Jess how to fix a flapper on her toilet she's having a problem with. Why don't you introduce yourself to people that don't know you?
What's up world? I'm Jess the coach. I'm here with the plumbing gurus today because I would like to learn how to fix my toilet.
She's our new apprentice. So we'll definitely have all her information in the links below. Check it out. Let's get into this video. Alright, so before we dive into this, we need to figure out exactly what's going on here so I can properly diagnose and also fix the problem. So what's going on here? What's the problem with your toilet here?
So the toilet's about 3 years old, so it's pretty new. And lately, when I go to flush it, I have to flush it like 2 or 3 times to get it actually like going, or else I have to hold it for a while.
Okay. And this is an American Standard brand of toilet, and it also has an American Standard brand flush valve. Sorry, not flush valve. The flapper is also kind of an American Standard style. Okay, so what else is it doing?
Sometimes it runs.
You mentioned sometimes it just runs and all of a sudden you can hear it fill and nobody's used the toilet or anything. Okay, so that tells me that we are having some sort of leakage from the tank into the bowl. Okay, so how about we come in here, take a closer look, and maybe we can figure out exactly what's going on and we can fix the problem.
Cool!
Let's do it.
Let's do it!
Okay, so before we get started inside the toilet here, and I'm going to kind of explain what everything does inside the toilet, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure that there's no water that's coming outside of the toilet, right? So you want to make sure, because obviously it's going to cause damage, property damage, will cost you a lot of money to get it fixed. Water can cause a lot of damage, it can cost a lot to get it fixed. So we've already done that. We've already checked around the toilet to make sure there's no water around it or anything around the base of the toilet or anything. So we know that because you said the one issue was just is that this thing just all of a sudden starts filling. So we know from there that the water is going somewhere, right? So
where?
Well, we know it's not going outside of the toilet. So now we know that that water is going from the tank, and it's going from the tank and it's going into the bowl. And it's going from there from some sort of a seal, one of the seals that's in the tank here, and it's going from the tank to the bowl. So coming over, we're going to show you guys all the parts, and Jess here, and all the parts about the toilet here. So first, Jess, what we have is the handle, and obviously you know this is the handle here. So on the end of the handle here, it's hooked up to a chain, and then on this chain it's hooked up to the flapper here. This is just like the flush assembly, I guess you would call it, or the fill assembly. This is the fill valve. So right now, I think we got to bring the water up a little bit, but we'll do that after. We'll just bring it up, set a little lower. So this here is the fill valve, and you can see how this works here. It's got a little float here. So when the water level is below that float line, it will bring water into the tank here. And then it also brings water into this tube. Now it's really important if you do hook one of these up, Jess, that you run this tube into here, because what this does is it brings water into the bowl. Right? So then when you do your flush, and if you have this tube just dumping into the tank here, and you do your flush and then it fills the tank back up with water. Well, because no, it's all good. So anyway, so this will actually fill the tank, the bowl as well.
I did not know that that's where.
Yeah, so that water goes into the bowl, and it just allows it so you have a little bit of water in there, so it's easier to keep clean. And it's also so that if you're doing a number 2, it's easier for everything to kind of go down nice, right, for whoever. So anyway, so the first thing that we'll usually check here is the flapper. Usually the flapper, the water's coming from inside of the tank to the bowl through the flapper seal. So we'll just go ahead and check that. So there's a couple ways that you can check that. You could use food coloring for one, or you could just go ahead and just change it. They're usually about $10 to $15, not even, for a new flapper. So I usually just change it. There are people out there that say, hey, let's put some food coloring in there and see if it's going. But I already know the water is going from the tank to the bowl, so I don't need to put food coloring in there to say, oh yeah, it is coming from the tank to the bowl. Because obviously the water is not going anywhere outside of the toilet. It has to be going from here from the tank to the bowl.
Okay.
Right? So let's go ahead. Now this flapper is a little different. It's not a standard flapper, it's an American standard flapper, which they're just engineered a little different, as you can see. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take this whole all apart, and we're gonna put a new seal on that flapper and see if it fixes the problem.
Okay.
What do you think?
Let's do it!
Let's do it.
Let's do it!
All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do before you do any work to the toilet or do any service work to the toilet is we wanna make sure that we shut off the main water to the toilet. Let's do that. All right, so here we are. We're gonna be changing out this flapper here is the first problem. So I'm not gonna lie to you, this is not a regular flapper. This is the first time that I've done work to a flapper like this. So I had to do a little research to figure out exactly how it's supposed to be done. So when we were like, hey, this is gonna be a great video, would be a great video idea. So why not try to teach everybody and show everybody on video on how this is done. So we've already shut the valve off, just did that for me. So what we'll do is we're just going to drain the water out of the tank here. And because we're just doing the flapper, we don't necessarily need to vacuum all the water out. So we'll just do like that, that's good enough. So on this flapper here, there's a little cotter pin, I guess you could say, that's holding this little piece in place here that's onto the handle. So we'll take that out. I'm just using a pair of baby locks, we call these, just small pliers, adjustable pliers. You could use needle nose pliers too if you want. I do have a pair of those, but I have these right in my pocket all the time. So when I'm pulling this out, I'm going to pull this straight out, and then I'm just going to put my fingers on either side of this little nut here, or this bolt, I guess, not a nut, just so it doesn't fall down the toilet. I'll just put that on the toilet seat, this is somewhere nice and safe, we'll not lose it. And then this part comes out just like that. So that's what kind of holds the chain in place. Put that right there. Put it right here, nice and safe. So what we have to do here now is I'll grab my little baby locks here and pull this flapper mechanism up. Now what you have to do is just underneath there's a stem that kind of sticks all the way through, and it's got like a part on it that doesn't allow this to come up all the way, which makes sense because if your handle was up too high, you can actually pull this all the way up, and this thing would just be floating around the toilet. So this is the seal here on the flush mechanism on the flapper. So what we have to do here is grab this center piece. So I'll grab it right in the center, as close to the center as I can, and just lift it up just a little bit, and then turn it. There's these little notches here. You can see that's what kind of locks it into place when you're tightening it. But when you're loosening it, you can just lift it over those while you're spinning it. Just like that. And then I found that there's another seal inside of here. So we'll spin this all the way out. And you spin it out so that it comes out just like that. So there's another seal right here where water could actually go right in the middle as well and drop down. So it could be leaking from this seal, or it could be leaking from this flapper seal as well. And this part just comes off just like that. So it's kind of two parts to a bunch of little parts to this little flapper. So this is the old one. And I don't know if you can see, but it has little, like it's bubbling. Can you see that on the camera there? Yeah, little blisters. Isn't that weird? So that's more than likely that's what's causing this flapper to leak here. So I don't know. My guess is that the rubber is allowing a little bit of water to get inside there from somewhere, or the rubber is just swelling up. You know what I mean? Just from the water, maybe just the material is. I'm not too sure. Anyways, we have a new one. Hold on. Yeah. It's recording. All right, so here's the new replacement gasket that we have here. And it comes with a little O-ring, and it comes with the gasket as well. So it's kind of neat. It has one little package. It says it's got a 5-year warranty on it. And so what we'll do is we'll unpackage this guy the best that we can. nails. Yeah, I need Jess. So I'm just looking for that little ring somewhere here. There it is. So we'll put that on first because I can get lost easy. So in this ring, here it goes into here. So we'll just take this off here. Now if you can't get this out, you could use like an X-Acto knife if you wanted, if it doesn't come out easy. Just be really careful when you do that. So we'll slide the new O-ring on. It fits on nice. That's done. And then now this here, the flapper looks like it's the same on both sides. So I would say that it doesn't matter which way it goes. So, and then this mechanism looks like it's locked on this stem. So that stays there. So what we'll do is we'll just see how this looks here. Right in. Okay, see, so it's got on this bottom part here, it's got a little spot here where it can sit right in here. So this part of the gasket here sits right inside it. So it fits, there's a nice seat inside there. And it looks like this has a place where it has to go, where it has to meet on the bottom part. See that, Jess, right there? See those? So those would have to line up. So we know that it lines up at the center of this. So we'll just line it up like this. Just like that. Now, we'll grab this part, stick it on here, and spin. Tighten it on there nice. I can feel the new O-ring on here is a lot tighter than the old one. So that tells me that possibly the old one was loose. So I'm just going to go one more. So I'm going to lift it up and just go past it. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's as tight as it needs to be. Feels pretty tight. I don't think it needs to be all that tight. I'm pretty sure that what makes the seal is the bottom part that has to be against there. So, which that does feel like it's made a nice seal. So let's put this back. So we'll slide this little part through here, just like that. Put the little cotter pin back in. This is a little loose here. I don't really like that. So I might just pinch this down just a little, just so it's a little tighter. There. Like that. There we go, that's better. All right, so now that we got that on, it looks like it seats nicely in there. Let's turn the water back on and let's do a little test on it and see if it works.
I did it!
She did it! No, in all honesty, we were gonna get her to do this one, but there was just a lot of little parts in there. It was just kind of tricky to kind of get it changed out. So I was like, okay, I'll just kind of jump in there, and I kind of took control.
But with what I learned today, I feel confident that watching this video can do myself.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome, yeah. So that's exactly what we want here out of these videos, is to kind of show everybody, like, you don't have to go ahead and, you know, pay a plumber to do the work, do this kind of stuff. You can learn to do this stuff on your own. And it is quite simple once you've kind of watched and you've done it. So anyways, we've put it together. We've ran it through a couple tests. It's holding water. Everything's all good. So in this case, you were also saying that you're having an issue with the flush as well. What was going on with that?
It wouldn't flush all the way.
Okay.
Unless you hold it.
unless you hold it down, right? So a lot of these toilets, these new toilets that they're making, they're what would you call it, like water saving toilets, you could say. They don't put out enough water from the tank to the bowl for it to flush properly. And in this case, the flapper is really heavy, so it doesn't float until the water's dropped all the way down. It just kind of lifts up, and that's why the hole is so big, I think. So it allows all the water to rush down quick, and then the flapper just falls down right away. So I think that's what's happening here in this case. So now that we've kind of done that, let's just do a little test here, and we'll just see. We're just gonna flush it just normally without holding it down, okay? Now watch how fast this is. Look how fast it drops down. And you can hear it. It doesn't sound like it made a proper flush, does it? Just.
Sounds better than it did.
Right, but it still didn't even sound like a proper flush. But you can see the water's coming up fine, so it looks like your fill valve is good. It's holding water good with the new flapper. I'm gonna get you to do this one, and I want you to hold it down until all the water is down to that spot where the flapper is this time, once it's hit. Okay. That sounded like a normal flush. Okay, so in this situation, there's not a whole lot that we can do right now. It's just the way that the toilet is engineered. So what we have to do now is, when you're flushing the toilet, you have to let everybody know. You gotta hold it down for 2 or 3 seconds or 4 seconds, however, 2 seconds, however long it takes to bring that water down to where the flapper is. I would say that would be the best way to fix that problem.
Make a sign, having a party.
Make a sign, yeah, having a party tonight, so we'll make sure that everybody knows to hold
Sorry,
the toilet
friends.
down. Yeah, that's kind of all we can do, I think, with this situation. It's just how the toilet is and how the toilet and everything's engineered for water saving purposes. You got something good out of this video? You know how to, next time you know how to fix this flapper on your own?
Yeah.
You confident? Yeah?
You betcha.
Nice, okay.
Yeah, high five.
High five, yeah. Well guys, thanks a lot for watching everyone, appreciate it. And don't forget, smash that subscribe button, like, maybe throw a comment in there if you don't mind. And we will be leaving a link in the description below for
Just the Coach.
That's right. And yeah, thanks for tuning in guys. See you guys on the next one.
Bye.
See ya.